We're kicking off this Monday night double feature with a divisional round rematch between the Detroit Lions and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Can Tampa Bay get revenge for that fateful 2024 matchup, or will Detroit defend their den? We'll see in the simulation, but first, let's get behind the bar and make our drink the Creamer.
Ooh, this is a fun matchup. The Bucs may have won the last one, but man, that divisional round game was something special. My personal favorite, though, is the 2023 regular season matchup, partially because of this beautiful Craig Reynolds block. God, I could just watch that on repeat all day. Another reason this matchup is relevant for this drink, though, is because the Bucs representative this week is the same as the jerseys from that game. That's right, it's the Creamsicle. Now, you're probably most familiar with the Creamsicle as that delicious orange and vanilla popsicle, but there is also a Creamsicle drink. Or rather, I should say, there are a number of Creamsicle cocktails, as it's one of those drinks that's really more of a vibe than a specific recipe. As long as you've got a creamy, boozy concoction with a bunch of vanilla and orange flavors in there, you can call it a Creamsicle and nobody will bat an eye. That said, the specific recipe that I'm using as inspiration is the one that you'll find on Difford's Guide, and also Wikipedia, funnily enough, which calls for an ounce of vodka, triple sec, and half and half, as well as a quarter ounce of simple syrup for a little bit of extra sweetness. So now that you have that base in mind, let me just run you through a quick, non-exhaustive list of potential modifications you can make to this drink. First off, you can substitute the normal vodka for a flavored one, probably a vanilla or orange one. You can also change the half and half to be a mix of cream and orange juice. You can add vanilla extract to up that vanilla flavor. And also, if you're feeling real frisky, you can remove the half and half entirely and replace it with a mix of orange soda and ice cream to turn this drink into a float. Staying with the ice cream theme, our Detroit native this week is the first boozy milkshake. Coming to us courtesy of the Motor City, it's the Hummer. The commonly accepted origin for this drink is at the Bayview Yacht Club in 1967, but this is cocktail history, so of course there's got to be a competing claim. Regardless of origin, the final spec for this drink is quite simple, consisting of 1.5 ounces of white rum, 1.5 ounces of Kahlua, a couple of ice cubes, and 2 to 4 scoops of vanilla ice cream. The end result is a boozy milkshake so thick that a straw will stand straight up in it. Before moving on, I want to mention 2 fun facts about the Hummer. Firstly, it is Michigan's unofficial state drink. Regardless of what the Google AI overview will tell you, it does not have official recognition. And second is that this drink actually predates the Hummer vehicle by 25 years. Yeah, the name for this apparently came from the fact that after you have a couple of these, you really start to hum. The civilian version of the Humvee wouldn't be released until 1992. Now, obviously the big decision here was, do I turn this into a boozy milkshake or do I keep it as a shaken drink? And while I do love a milkshake, ultimately my laziness prevailed and I decided to keep this a shaken drink. The thought of having to wash out my blender after making it was just a bridge too far for me. So the end result is going to be a pretty simple final spec for this drink. We are going to start off with 1 ounce of white rum, keeping that rum base, while also not messing with the flavors too much. 1 ounce of Kahlua. Again, staying on theme with the rum, getting that coffee in here. Ooh, syrupy. One ounce of triple sec. So we've got, by blending the Creamsicle and the Hummer, we're sort of getting this like orange and coffee combo, which I went back and forth on for a little bit. I do not know if it's going to be good or not, but it'll be interesting at the very least. And then finally, 1 ounce of half and half. So this is the first time I've made a cocktail with any dairy in it. So it'll be interesting. Let's see. This will be a very interesting cocktail. It'll either be really nice or it'll be really bad. All right. And that's all there is. We're going to shake that up. All right. That all shaken up. We are going to strain that into our rocks glass. It looks like dessert, that's for sure. All right, and then as a blend between the creamsicle and the Hummer, you know I gotta call this drink the creamer. Let's give it a try. Doesn't smell bad. Ooh. Okay. It's not a bad drink. It's very nice and sort of desserty. It does really, you know, feel like a melted down dessert drink. The booze is definitely present. I mean, we've got 3 ounces of liquor in here. The Kahlua, I think, is only, what, 20-something%? What are you? Tell me your secrets. Yeah, so the Kahlua is only 20%, but our Cointreau and our white rum are both 40%. So there's like 2.5 ounces, you know, of full-proof alcohol in here, and just 1 ounce of heavy, of half and half. So this is definitely a strong drink. It's definitely using the body from the half and half to sort of hide that extra booze and the punch that comes with it. The coffee and the orange do play well, though. It does need, I feel like, I think what this drink really probably needs is 1 sweetener. I think like, just like a 1/4 ounce even, not even, I don't think a full 1/2 ounce. Like, you couldn't go wrong with a full 1/2 ounce, but just like a little bit of a sweetener to modify that coffee and orange. And I'm trying to think of which one I'd use right now. Like, I could see a maple syrup being good. You could definitely just go with simple syrup, but I think you want, it's wanting for 1 more note. Like, because with 2, the coffee and the orange have this interesting sort of, you know, tension back and forth to them. And they blend well, but not, it's like an emulsion, right? Like, when you've just got these 2 ingredients, they don't really want to mix, you know, it's sort of oil and water. You know, you're getting the coffee and the orange, but instead of sort of forming a coherent identity, they just kind of ping pong back in terms of which one you're tasting more of at any given moment. And so it needs like a 3rd sort of ingredient to make this like a stable trio of flavors and tie it together in its identity. It's close though. Like there's just, yeah, like maybe maple syrup is the right one. Maybe more of like a Demerara sugar syrup. Oh, there's something. I don't know what it is right now, but there is some syrup that I think would really pull this drink together. Obviously, the mouthfeel is, you know, super creamy, super smooth. Really kind of just flows over your tongue in a really pleasant way. Huh. So, I mean, confession time, I've never had a White Russian before. Generally speaking, the idea of like cream and dairy in drinks kind of gets my stomach twisted up in knots, which I think is really funny considering like the amount of times I've had sours that have like egg whites, and it's like, oh yeah, egg whites, that thing that like most people think is super gross and nasty. Love that. Milk? Nah, get it out of here. So this is, I think this might be the first like really predominantly, you know, milk dairy-based drink that I've had. And I might have to make some more of them. I do think I see the appeal of this style of drink now. It really is like a sort of sweet, desserty drink. Yeah, it's like, oh. Damn, okay, it's so close. And I think part of it might be a ratio thing, right? Like, I don't think, you could probably lighten up on the Cointreau a little bit, maybe. That might be a bit too strong in the current setup. This is a frustrating drink because it's a good drink that's very close to being a great drink. Like, this is a solid, rough draft of a drink, which honestly, considering where I was when I first made this, I thought this might be like the first drink that makes me gag and like that I'm unable to finish. Well, I guess I was unable to finish the one that used the fuss fungal back in like week 4. But like I thought this had a chance at being like really like gag worthy, and it's not, and it's a good rough draft. But now I'm seeing where this drink could be, and oh man, like that's honestly even more frustrating. All right, well, I'm gonna finish this and then go up to Ivy and Coney to watch the Lions game that's going on today. But I'm going to send you to the Lions game in the simulation.
As we kick off here in Detroit with the Bucs getting the ball first, it's worth acknowledging that basically all of Tampa's offense is assumed to be healthy for this matchup, Godwin, Irving, and Evans, which pays off on their opening drive, as Baker scrambles in from 7 yards out for the first score of the game. However, the Lions' offense is also fully operational and pounds the rock all the way down to the 4-yard line, where Jahmyr Gibbs scoots in untouched to put Detroit on the board. The Lions' defense gets a stop, and their offense just keeps on rolling, as the Bucs are unable to stop the run, and Jahmyr Gibbs gives their defense deja vu with his second rushing TD of the game. As we approach the 2-minute warning, Tampa is facing a 3rd and 5 in Lions red zone, and Bucky Irving takes the draw all the way to the end zone for the 18-yard rushing TD. The Lions run a basically perfect 2-minute drill, and with 26 seconds left in the half, it's a touchdown to Brock Wright!
Who? Brock Wright!
The Lions defense holds strong for the remaining 20 seconds, sending us into the half with the Lions up 21-14. On the very first play of the second half, the Lions O-line opens up a massive hole, Gibbs hits it, makes one man miss, then J-Mo gets the final block to spring him for a 74-yard rushing TD, getting Detroit off to a roaring start in the third quarter. And from then on, this team just wouldn't be stopped. Halfway through the third quarter, Jared Goff on the play-action bootleg fools the defense and hits Amon-Ra for his first touchdown of the game. Tampa strikes back at the end of the third quarter, though, as Baker connects with Chris Godwin on the out route for a 10-yard TD. The Lions are moving the ball well to start the fourth quarter, but Tampa brings the blitz on 3rd and 3 with the unblocked rusher sacking Goff, pushing them back to the 30. However, that's still well within Jake Bates' range, and he hits the 47-yarder to make this a 3-score game again. These Bucs don't go down easy, though, and they're back in the Lions' red zone just before the 2-minute warning. Hutch loses contain, and Baker takes off running, evading defenders for a 17-yard rushing TD. Down 10 with just over 2 minutes left, Tampa attempts the onside kick, but J-Mo of all people recovers it with ease, effectively icing this game. After the 2-minute warning, as the Lions attempt to run out this game, Jahmyr hits the edge and is off to the races, nobody stopping him from taking this one in for a 30-yard TD, his 4th of the night. And with that exclamation mark, Lions win 45-28. Now, I know I mentioned that all of Tampa's offense was healthy for this one, but I feel like I should also clarify that all of Detroit's defense was healthy too. I could see the Lions putting up 45 on the Bucs, Seahawks put up 35, but it'll be tricky to hold them to 28 without a healthy secondary. 2 excellent quarterback performances in this game. Baker had more volume while Jared led on efficiency. A clean 300 yards on the dot for Baker, a bit shy of his game against the Seahawks, but still well above average. Meanwhile, only 220 for Goff, but he had the same amount of incompletions as he had touchdowns in this game. Rushing-wise, this is really the Jahmyr Gibbs show. I mean, where do you even start with 182 yards and 4 touchdowns, on only 15 carries no less? 4 touchdowns would tie him with Barry Sanders for the most touchdowns in a game by a Lions running back, and despite having a few monstrous games in the past, this would be a career high in both yards and TDs. In reality, we'd probably see some of these yards and TDs go to Demo, who had only 2 carries for 21 yards in this sim. Bucky Irving had a good game on low volume, recording 38 yards and a TD on only 7 carries. Now, Baker has actually rushed for more than 60 yards in a game before, but he's never had 2 touchdowns in a single game. Oh, and also as a little fun bonus, J-Mo took a jet sweep for 28 yards. All 3 of Tampa's incredible receivers put up nearly identical performances, catching 7 balls apiece and notching 81, 71, and 73 yards between Godwin, Egbuka, and Evans respectively. Meanwhile, Jahmyr Gibbs also led the way for the Lions on the receiving side of things, recording 5 catches for 66 yards. Goff did a good job spreading the ball around to the rest of his weapons though, as Tesla, Saint, Laporta, and even JMO got on the stat sheet, even if JMO just had 1 catch for 3 yards. Jared Goff actually has a similar number of passing yards in the Monte Carlo sim, while Baker sees his total drop all the way down to below 200. Both running backs continue to have good games in this sim, though obviously Ja comes far short of 182 yards. The sim also takes those extra catches away from Tesla and gives them to JMO, who averages around 4 receptions for 40-ish yards. Looking at the scores from the Monte Carlo sim, we again see that familiar 21-14 square of scores, though a 21-14 Lions victory is most likely. It's actually one of the more probable single outcomes we've seen recently, having a nearly 4% chance of occurring based on the sim. With it tipping the scales, it's perhaps not surprising that the average of sim outcomes favors the Lions, settling on a 20-18 Detroit victory. Do you agree with the simulations, or do you envision a different future? I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts down in the comments. As a reminder, our drink for this matchup is the deliciously desserty creamer. If you make it, please let me know what you think, and I'd love to hear your suggestions for what drink should be your team's representative. Stay curious, stay thirsty, and I'll see you in the next one.